Hi, I'm Laura Ludlow and I'm a Principal Associate in the Mills and Reeve Real Estate Education team. And I'm seeing a lot more queries from clients about sustainability issues. So today I wanted to talk just for a couple of minutes about how a university can go from a net zero carbon declaration to decarbonisation of its estates. So sustainability and net zero carbon is something that all universities are thinking about. Many have adopted the UN Sustainable Development Goals and have set and are on their way to meeting net zero carbon targets. But there are lots of challenges on this journey. Firstly, universities have got to meet their stakeholder expectations, and we're seeing it's quite often students and staff who are leading the call for behavioural change here. Setting net zero targets in themselves is very complex. Sustainability affects the whole campus, and so targets must be set in collaboration across the university. There must be comprehensive data measuring and monitoring to establish a baseline, and then realistic but challenging interim targets to measure their progress towards the ultimate net zero carbon target goal. Universities have got to be experts in forecasting, as well as anticipating any policy changes likely to come in the next few years from the government. They also need to address climate adaptation in the development of their buildings, building for the future, whether it be weather conditions or potentially the increased risk of flooding. Tackling Scope 3 emissions is another enormous challenge. This means looking down your value chain and making sure your service providers are signing up to the same standards and have the same goals and values as you do. And it's becoming even more of a challenge with this all agile working, as suddenly the campus becomes a lot bigger. Finally, an enormous challenge, and perhaps the biggest, is the budget and the investment required for this. Now, there are funds available to help meet net zero carbon targets, such as the REFIT scheme, there's the SALIX funding for decarbonisation. But everyone appreciates that a university has a lot of competing draws on its funds. So the drive to net zero affects all aspects of the university, and so the university must adopt a whole institution approach in order to achieve this. Thinking first about the estate, obviously considerations for sustainability need to come into any redevelopment and retrofitting plans. The appropriate technology should be adopted to help with this, and the university must be considering environmental management and biodiversity on campus. Finance and investments is an enormous aspect where the university can have some influence. The university assets should all be aligned with its sustainability values and goals. Where possible, it may want to invest in climate solutions, and if this isn't possible, investing in other companies will give it a really good opportunity to pressure for change from within. Procurement will also be impacted by these targets, especially when we're considering Scope 3 emissions, as I've just mentioned. And other aspects of life on campus, from waste and recycling to food and catering. We've all seen the publicity universities get when they say they're not going to sell red meat, for example. The curriculum will be impacted, and lots of universities now are teaching ESG and sustainability issues across the board, no matter what degree the students are studying. And following on from that, the labs and research at the university. This is a key area where a university has a chance to impact and really broaden understanding of climate change issues. Finally, looking at health and well-being. Obviously, this is at the forefront of everybody's minds at the moment, but this ties in well with sustainability goals, because making a campus cleaner and greener has got to be of benefit to everybody. So a university needs to make its story more coherent and build an institutional culture with sustainability at its core. Universities really have the benefit of longevity here, and so they can adapt for the long term. For universities' purpose is to advance knowledge. The knowledge, research and climate literacy a university can generate and disseminate is going to be essential to wider society here as we all look to tackle the climate change challenge together. Universities really must take on their roles and responsibilities as leaders. And this involves not only working with other universities, and for once not in competition with them. Knowledge and know-how have got to be shared here, because if the sector gets it right, everyone is going to benefit. And universities must also look to lead change as the centre of their local community. Because really, when we're talking about climate change, it's local changes that are going to change the world. So 2021 is really a key year. The pandemic gives us a perfect opportunity to introduce new policies and strategies and champion a green recovery. And the focus is going to be on the UK this year because of COP26, which we're hosting in November. The higher education sector is going to want to have a high profile here, and so it should really be looking to lead by example. So I hope I've given you a bit of food for thought there, and please do get in touch if you'd like to discuss any sustainability issues further. Thank you.